Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Okay. How to maximize that one.
Okay, we good? Liz, can you say if you're good?
I'm good, yes.
Okay. All right, we do have a quorum. We're gonna go ahead and start the meeting. I don't think we have any guests. Approval of last month's meeting. They're with your packet. Of course, I'm looking through it right now. Anybody want to give me a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor or any other further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 Okay, Jeff, you have anything to report?
No, sir.
I do not.
No, I do not.
Liz?
No, I do not.
Jeff, Connor, anything?
No, I
Okay,
do
moving to
not.
unfinished business. Nothing there, I don't think, is there, Chad?
No, I would just state for the record that, Tony and Jeff are here in person. Liz and Jeff Connor are joining us by Zoom, and we have Tim Schweinebart on the phone. So we do have a quorum.
Very good. New business, subdivision plat.
Yes, you should have a few of them in your packet. North Shore West subdivision, lots 7, 8, 10, and 11. We looked at a couple of these last week. So this is an older subdivision. It already has preliminary approval. These lots are along North Shoreline Drive. They're just submitting more for final approval. So this already all has preliminary. They're just submitting individual lots for approval along North Shoreline Drive. So there are two separate plats. You should have one for 7, 8, 10, and 11. And then there's also lot 21. So 5 lots total.
We need to do these separately.
Yes, yeah, they're all in the same subdivision. They just didn't fit on the same page. So I think we would take separate motion on each of
I
them.
need a motion on we can stop, let lot 7, 8, 10, and 11.
Make that motion.
Got a motion, got a second?
I'll second.
Okay, got a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
Aye.
So moved.
Okay.
All right, now the motion on the lot 21, right?
Yes.
Lot 21 is in the North Shore subdivision. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion second.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, so moved, Chad.
Another one is North Shore East, lot 22. I'm just going to share this with everybody. Technically, it doesn't require approval. If you remember in the old days before we changed the ordinance in 2010, they would get, or an applicant would get final approval, and then they would just bring in record plats for approval. So this is basically a record plat of something that was already approved by the Planning Commission several years ago. So I really only need Tony's signature, but I don't know if anybody has any questions about it. Doesn't need formal action.
This is North Shore East, correct?
Yeah, North Shore East. So it already had final approval of all the lots. And this is basically just, they're now recording it. We changed that policy in 2010. So we didn't have record plats floating out there. We actually brought them in for final approval by the Planning Commission as they were going to record them. But this is one of the older subdivisions that still have some record lots. Still need approved. So, any questions on it?
Not here.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, I'll give Tony that to sign. So the last subdivision we have is lot 81, Ridgeview Valley. This is a planned residential development. Again, there's just 2 PRDs working right now. The WISP will be one, Ridgeview Valley is the other one. This is the subdivision that's out the end of Gravelly Run Road. And they have submitted a few of these in the past. It's been a while. There are 219 total dwelling units in there that have tentative approval. Only 31 of them have been recorded. So they're now bringing another lot for final approval.
I understand that. Okay, any Any discussion on that? I need a motion.
I'll make it.
I move to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, thanks. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I'll tell you what, it's kind of like a delay, isn't it? Kinda-
Yeah.
I get ahead of myself.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess next will be zoning
Zoning
appeals
appeals
cases. There's going to be three of them. So the first one, special exception 485, an application submitted by John and Christy Newsom for an electric power generating solar array. Property is located at 3573 Sand Flat Road, map 66, parcel 76 and 506, grid 14, and is zoned Lake Residential 2. We discussed this one at the last planning commission meeting, and then they decided to withdraw their application, submit it again this month. I guess they weren't quite ready. I don't know if there are any questions on this.
Is that gonna be on the house or beside the house? Because I'm kind of against having a whole bunch of solar panels all dotted all around the whole lake unless it's on the house. That's me though.
Yeah, this would be on the northern part of the property. The southern part already has the solar panel field approved on it. There are two separate companies that are working on this. So one of them has already got their special exception to do a solar panels on the southern portion of these lots. And now another company wants to come in and do more panels on the northern portion of this. And this will be kind of surrounding the house there.
Anybody
I
have,
guess that's my question. I would think there would be ordinances. Well, I guess there is. They're asking for a special exception.
Mhm.
Is it special exception because of the solar panels or because of where they're being placed?
Well, the Deep Creek watershed zoning ordinance doesn't specifically address solar panels. What it has is a section that just says, it is called electric power generating. It's just a broad category. It's special exception in all districts. So in the past, we have lumped solar in with that general category. The county put some solar panels on Mayhew Road behind the sewage treatment facility. It was that they had a special exception. And then this one had a special exception for the solar panels on the southern part. So we considered this to be a use similar in character and extent to this broader electric power generating facility. So that's why it's lumped in with that. Solar, again, is not addressed specifically in the ordinance.
Chad, is there anything substantially different here than the one that was approved before?
It's larger. In the information I sent out previously, it's a larger panel, larger field, I should say, takes up more of the acreage, but, similar style from what I understand. It'll just take up more of the property in solar panels.
Will that be able to be seen from the lake? If I'm a boater on the lake, am I going to see all these solar panels? That's where I'm at. Is it going to?
I don't really know the answer to that. There have been some concerns expressed by neighbors that you'll be able to see it potentially from 219 as you drive by.
I suggest that the zoning Deep Creek Lake Zoning Board address solar panels within the lake shed, especially the view. Let them deal with it. That's kind of where I'm at on that whole situation. If not, you're going to have solar panels all over the whole lake, and that's going to be an eyesore.
Well, I mean, how much property are we talking about around the lake that would actually really even work for solar panels of, large pieces of property? Probably not that many.
Yeah, you're probably right, but they need to address it.
A few years ago, they came around. We were kind of popular 4 or 5 years ago, I guess, and I went to a couple of meetings. They liked the southern exposure, and the solar arrays then were 10 acres big each, and they were only able to put, at the time, one per property, but maybe that's changed. But does that appear to be the size of these 10 acres, 10-acre plot?
I don't know what the acreage of this is off the top of my head.
All right.
I don't see it on the plat.
Yeah, that's what they were then. They were 10 acres big, and they like the southern exposure.
I think this area along Sand Flat is an area that has some larger parcels. I think Liz is correct. As you get into other areas of the lake, you're probably not going to have as many large parcels of land, but they could be, spread throughout the watershed somewhat, I suppose.
So we want to put on this one just a concern about the aesthetic of the solar panels. That's the way I understand it, Jeff.
Yeah, I just don't want the whole lake region to be proliferated with solar panels.
Right. So we'll put a little caveat with this, send it back to them, and put a little note that says we have a concern about the aesthetic being affected by overuse or over whatever of solar panels in the Deep Creek watershed.
View shedding of the solar panels, that's the technical.
Like you asked about seeing them, you can see them up on top of the golf course at Lodestone.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Well, I'm not sure that I understand really that that's so much of a concern, because the way the panels work, in order to get any benefit from them, you have to have a large tract, is my understanding of it. You're not going to get that much energy benefit from just putting them in your front yard.
Right.
Isn't that?
I think they stand about 10 or 12 feet high, maybe 15, so they're not visible. The tree coverage tends to cover them up. Unless you're looking down on them, you could see them then. But I guess the ones out on Friendsville Road will be able to see.
And this is more of a utility use. So if somebody came to us and just wanted to put panels on their roof or small panels in the yard, that would just be an accessory use to a residential use.
Right.
That wouldn't require this special type hearing. This is just for a more commercial or industrial use where they're being fed into the grid. It's not accessory to a
Yes.
house per se.
So do you have a problem with just putting that caveat in there, just be conscious of the aesthetics of solar
Yes,
panels?
I do. Because I don't honestly think there's that much property that's large land property that's going to concern me, certainly. But, we're not voting on that. I guess we're just passing it along the way. But I don't have a concern and don't join in that concern.
Well, for special exceptions, the planning commission can make recommendations to the board as they look at them.
Yeah, we can send that, like I said, a caveat down that says, we're concerned about the aesthetics of solar panels and, Deep Creek watershed. And, it's going to be done by a case basis. And we see there's not a problem with this one, I don't think, but in the future, it is something to think about. I'm like you, Liz, I don't think there's no property any place to, if you look at the houses that are being built with solar panels on top of them, I don't think that's aesthetically pleasing, but that we can't stop that,
Right.
Good point.
Okay, Jeff, you want to still put that caveat with that, or you want to?
I'd like to have a caveat that they would just, going forward at least. I'm not saying I'm against this project. I'm just saying overall, how many solar panels would we have around the lake that could upset the view shed?
Well, I think there's kind of two issues here. The commission can decide to make comment on this case specifically that we forward on to the zoning board of appeals. The other thing I'm hearing, if you want to, the planning commission does have the ability to recommend amendments to the ordinance. So I think I'm hearing two things. If you're concerned about solar and want it specifically addressed, I think that's a different thing. You would be proposing perhaps to amend the ordinance to specifically address solar. So just to clarify, I think there's two separate things we might be discussing here.
Yes,
And
I agree.
you're right. Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, so we
I'm
got
not
this one.
specifically attacking.
Zoning appeal board as is, and then we deal with the other situation in-house then, right? Is that the way you see it?
I do.
that sound all right, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm not saying to kill the project. I'm just saying, like, going forward, to have a review. How many solar panels do you really want up? And is it really going to affect it?
We can get that information. I mean, like I said, the biggest thing, we can't stop putting solar panels on their house roof, so.
Right.
It's kind of like, we got to have Chad and them look into that a little bit and see what we do need to do, but you can't, like Tim said, you gotta have a 10-acre spread, isn't it, 10 acres or something to be effective.
Right.
For power generation to sell back, right? Okay, let's send that one down. Is that all right with everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. The next one, it was an SE 486, an application submitted by Jennifer and Todd Pratt for indoor boat storage. That one's been withdrawn, so that one won't be heard. For the next one, it should be VR 806, I believe, instead of SE. It's a variance. It's an application submitted by Matt Freeling for a variance to allow the construction of a single-family residence to within 11 feet of the east side and 10 foot of the west side. Property is located along 483 North Shore Drive, tax map 59, parcel 110, grid 14. It's Lake Residential 1. So they're seeking a variance from the setbacks there in the rear setback. Excuse me, not the lot. Yes, it's only a 50-foot wide lot. This one had asked for a variance a few years ago, and the neighbor challenged it, and I believe that they now are in agreement that they have changed the house size. So I think the neighbors and them are now kind of agreeing that this is a more suitable, but they still have to go for the variance to, for the zoning setbacks.
Have any concerns over this one?
No.
Okay, so no comment. So the last one, VR 807, an application submitted by Bell Leah LLC. It's a variance to allow the enlargement or extension of a nonconformity. This is Run Tavern, basically. It's the property located at 485 Boy Scout Road in Oakland, map 66, parcel 68, Lake Residential 2. Pond Run is a non-conforming use. It's a tavern in Lake Residential where you're not supposed to have taverns. Of course, it existed before the Deep Creek Watershed zoning ordinance, so it's allowed to continue. And non-conforming uses are able to expand one time, 35%. They've already done their one-time 35% expansion. They now want to add an ADA bathroom. And to convert that bathroom, they have to actually make it a little bit bigger. And they're also going to be going closer to the front line. So they're asking for a variance to go closer to the front and to make an additional expansion to a non-conforming use.
Anybody have an opinion on this one?
I don't have an issue with this.
Getting off
I
the
don't
Boy Scout
either.
Road, isn't it?
Yeah, it's currently 10.9 feet from Boy Scout, and they would end up going 6.2 to the front property line. That's to the road right away. I'm not sure exactly how close it would be to the actual pavement, but it is getting very close to that front line.
All right, we send that one on down then. Nobody has any more comment? I have a question.
Okay.
Got all the cases.
Yes.
The case with the marina, can you explain to me how that went the other night?
It was denied by the zoning board. There were some questions about it. There were some things that were unclear about what exactly they wanted to do, so it was denied. So I believe they're going to kind of regroup and maybe ask the board for some clarification of their decision, or perhaps amend their application and apply for something a little bit different. So that's kind of still an ongoing.
I heard it was declined. I didn't.
Yes,
I
it was
heard one
declined.
side, I didn't hear the other side.
Yeah, it was declined. I think they're kind of hashing that all out right now.
I knew that was a tough one to try to.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, where do you feel that lies? Do you feel like it was a legitimate request, or was it something?
marinas are rather confusing and a lot of
We
them,
went through that with Bill Mary. I mean,
Yeah.
you went through, right?
a lot of them don't necessarily meet all the requirements in the ordinance because they're grandfathered, so it becomes kind of hard to administer the regulations. And this was somewhat unclear what they were planning to do. Some other things came up about whether there was going to be docks there used by other people, and that wasn't super clear when we originally sent the variance out. And I think that concerned people about whether there were going to be other people down there using it. I think it was our understanding that it was only to launch boats. So there were several things that came up that were
I understand the county attorney got involved in it, right, at some point?
We did discuss it, yeah, we tried to discuss it to make sure that the board had properly made their decision and trying to clarify what exactly they were asking for, so.
Did he feel that it was, I mean, did he have any input, or did he feel like it was?
That's still being discussed.
Okay. I mean, I'm just asking that question.
Yeah.
You know what you hear on the street, you know how you want to make sure you're informed
Yeah.
properly. Okay, anything else? Next meeting to be.
Not on my end.
Yeah.
This is kind of interesting. We got one on the phone and one with his name up there, and then we got Liz, and then we got Jeff and Chad.
I'm an hottie. I'm not that good looking.
Yeah. But still, they got a picture behind Liz. It's a nice picture.
No, that's my law school.
That's nice. All right,
Thanks.
anything else? Adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Have a nice
Thanks,
day.
guys. Have a good day.
Bye.
See y'all.
All right. See you, Timmy.